There is a moment in life when the weight of the old self becomes unbearable, when the patterns that once defined you begin to crack and dissolve, and what remains is an emptiness, a silence, a space of unknowing. It is in this space that true transformation begins, not through force or resistance, but through a deep willingness to let go, to step into the unknown and allow yourself to be remade, to be reborn. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, discipline, and above all, a solitary walk. A choice to turn inward, to face yourself without distraction or comfort, to break free from the habits that no longer serve you, and to rebuild yourself from the ground up, alone. It is in this aloneness that you discover the quiet strength that has always been within you, waiting to rise. Dear friends, when we speak of destroying the old you, it is not an act of aggression or a denial, it is a declaration of readiness. The old self, the familiar self, the comfortable self, is often built on habits and beliefs that no longer serve us. Like layers of dust gathered over years, we allow the mind to become cluttered with assumptions, with fears, with stories that no longer match the person we are capable of becoming. To begin, we must recognize the courage it takes to let go of this old self. Courage is not a roar, it is a silent decision made deep within the heart. The decision to release, to step forward into the unknown even when fear whispers, "Stay where you are." We often cling to identities forged from past experiences. The shy one, the fearful one, the angry one, the broken one. These are labels we have worn for so long, they feel like skin, and yet if we examine them closely, we see they are illusions, projections formed by the mind in response to pain or disappointment. To step beyond these identities requires clarity. Clarity that says, I am not this story. Clarity that says, I will not be defined by old patterns. Clarity that whispers, I am more than this. But clarity alone is not enough. It is only the first breath, the first step on a long path. The path begins when we admit to ourselves that holding on to the old self is like carrying a heavy stone, a burden that weighs down our steps, makes our breathing shallow and our vision clouded. The mind clings to what is familiar even if it causes suffering, because the unknown is terrifying. It is easier to stay where we are in the dark cave of our comfort zones than to step into the bright and unfamiliar light. But there is no growth in the cave. There is no strength in remaining the same. The true warrior, the true practitioner of self-mastery recognizes this and steps forward. This journey is not a public spectacle, it is a private realization. No one will congratulate you for leaving behind old fears. No one will celebrate the quiet moments of awakening that come when you sit alone with your thoughts, when you see clearly the chains you have wrapped around yourself and decide to remove them. But this is where transformation begins. It does not begin with grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It begins with the decision to stop carrying what no longer serves you. It may begin with a simple observation, noticing the way you speak to yourself, the way you judge yourself harshly for mistakes, the way you let the voice of fear dominate your thoughts. When you see this, you begin to understand that the old self is not a single thing, but a collection of habits, thoughts, patterns, reactions. It is not something you can destroy with one strike. It is a dismantling process, a gradual unraveling of the threads that have kept you bound. The courage to let go is not about forcing yourself to forget the past or reject the person you were. It is about honoring the lessons while releasing the limitations. It is about saying, yes, this is who I was, but it is not who I must remain. It is about recognizing that the old self may have protected you in times of danger or confusion, but now it is time to step into the light of growth. This is not a betrayal of the old self, it is a deep respect for the potential that lies beyond. When you begin to let go, you will feel resistance. The mind will protest, it will try to convince you that you need the old stories to stay safe. It will create distractions, excuses, even discomfort. But you must stay steady like a mountain rooted in the ground. You must observe these protests without reacting. Simply notice the mind's chatter and let it pass. This is the training of discipline, the training of the mind to stay focused and clear. There may be moments when you feel lost, when the familiar patterns fall away and you feel empty. This is not a sign of failure. This is the space where the new self can emerge. Just as a field must be cleared before new seeds are planted, the mind must be cleared of the old before the new can grow. Do not rush this process. Do not force it. Allow the old to dissolve naturally as you remain present in your daily practices, as you breathe mindfully, as you move with awareness, as you listen to the stillness within. The courage to let go is not a destination, it is a practice. It is a choice. You make every day to release the past, to stand in the present, to open the door to the future. It is a path walked alone, yet it connects you to something greater than yourself. It connects you to the universal flow of change, of growth, of life itself. In this practice you will find strength you did not know you had. You will find clarity that cuts through confusion. You will find peace in the midst of transformation. This path is not easy, but it is simple. Breathe, observe, release, and trust that what is meant to fall away will fall away. What is meant to remain will remain, and what is meant to be built anew will rise from the space you have created by your courage to let go. It begins with one breath, one step, one decision, to no longer be bound by the old, to no longer serve the stories that limit you, to no longer believe that you are less than you are. You must be willing to face the silence, to sit in the discomfort of not knowing who you will become, to embrace the emptiness as a sacred space where transformation occurs. And when the old self dissolves like mist in the morning sun, you will feel the weight lift. You will feel the breath deepen. You will feel the space within you expand into something vast and free. And when you rise from this practice, you will carry with you not just a new self, but a new understanding of what it means to be free, of what it means to live fully, to live in harmony with the natural flow of life itself. This is the way, this is the path, and it begins with the courage to let go. Rebuilding yourself is a journey that unfolds in the quiet places where no one else can see or hear, where the only voice that echoes is your own. When you sit in the silence of your room or walk through the stillness of the morning, you begin to feel the weight of what you carry. You begin to notice the distractions that have filled your life, the constant noise of others' opinions, the endless stream of entertainment and alienation, all of it designed to keep you from facing the truth of who you are. But when you sit in the silence, without reaching for your phone or turning on the television, without seeking the company of others, you begin to see yourself as you truly are. It is here in this solitude that you meet the parts of yourself you have avoided, the fears you have buried, the dreams you have silenced. At first the silence is uncomfortable. It feels like an emptiness, a void that demands to be filled. But if you stay, if you breathe, and allow yourself to simply be with what arises, you will see that this emptiness is not something to fear. It is a space for clarity to emerge. It is the clearing of a cluttered mind. It is the canvas upon which you can begin to paint a new image of yourself in this space. You may feel the pull of old patterns, the need to define yourself by past failures or successes, the desire to prove yourself to someone else, but in the silence these patterns lose their power, because there is no one to impress, no one to judge, no one to blame. There is only you. This is why the journey of rebuilding must be done alone. It is not a journey that can be walked with others. It is not a journey where you can hide behind the masks you wear in public. It is a journey where you confront the raw truth of your existence, where you ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? Who am I when I strip away the roles and expectations. Who am I when I let go of the need to be seen, the need to be approved of, the need to be liked? In this space of solitude, you begin to see that you are not your achievements, you are not your failures, you are not the opinions others have of you. You are simply a being capable of transformation, capable of growth, capable of choosing a new way of being. In this silence, you will face discomfort, you will face boredom, you will face the temptation to run back to the familiar distractions. But if you stay, you will find that these feelings are like clouds passing through the sky. They are not permanent, they do not define you. They are simply the mind trying to hold on to what is known and safe. The true strength is in staying present, in watching the mind as it protests, in observing the thoughts as they rise and fall, without reacting, without grasping, without pushing them away. This is the training of awareness. This is the practice of mindfulness. You will notice how the mind tries to pull you into stories, how it tries to relive old arguments, how it replays moments of embarrassment or regret, how it imagines future scenarios filled with anxiety or hope. But in the silence you see these stories for what they are. They are not truth, they are not reality. They are simply mental habits that have been reinforced over years. In the solitude, you learn to let these stories go, to watch them like leaves floating down a river, to return your attention to the present moment, to the breath, to the sensations of the body, to the simple reality of being here now. This practice of facing yourself alone is not an escape from the world. It is preparation for re-entering the world with clarity and purpose. It is a way of purifying the mind of the noise that clouds judgment, of the fears that limit action, of the attachments that create suffering. When you emerge from the silence, you are not the same. You are more grounded, more centered, more capable of responding to life with wisdom and compassion. This is why the journey must be done alone, because it is only in the absence of external distractions that you can truly hear the voice of your own heart, the voice of your true self. In the beginning, it may feel like loneliness, it may feel like isolation, but as you continue the practice, you will see that you are never truly alone. The silence is not empty, it is filled with life, with presence, with the subtle connection to all that is in the silence. You can feel the pulse of the universe within you, the breath of life flowing through you, the quiet guidance of your higher self whispering the way forward. This is not loneliness, it is communion. It is connection to something deeper than the surface noise of the world. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to sit in silence, to face yourself with honesty and courage, to let go of the need for distraction and approval, to embrace the stillness as a teacher. The silence will reveal your strengths. It will show you where you have been hiding from yourself. It will illuminate the fears that have held you back, and it will give you the strength to move through them, not with force, but with understanding, with patience, with compassion. This is the way of the inner warrior, the way of the true practitioner of self-mastery. When you rebuild yourself alone, you do not abandon the world. You prepare yourself to re-enter it as a stronger, clearer, more resilient being. You do not reject the company of others, but you no longer depend on their validation. You do not seek external approval, because you have found approval within. You do not fear the opinions of others, because you know who you are. In the silence, you have faced your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses, and you have emerged with a deeper understanding of your own strength, your own capacity to endure and to grow. This is the path of the solitary journey, not a journey of isolation, but a journey of preparation, a journey that clears the mind of clutter, that strengthens the heart with courage, that sharpens the vision with clarity. It is a journey that every true seeker must walk, not because they want to escape the world, but because they want to engage with it from a place of truth and power. When you walk this path, when you face yourself in the silence, you discover that the old self does not need to be destroyed with violence. It simply dissolves in the light of awareness. And from this dissolution, a new self emerges, clear, strong, and ready to live fully, ready to meet life with open eyes and an open heart. The practice of renewal is not a sudden event. It is a quiet, steady discipline that unfolds day after day, like the slow rising of the sun over the mountains, rebuilding yourself alone. It's not about a dramatic moment of transformation. It is about the choice you make each morning to leave behind the old self and step into the new. It is about waking up with intention, with clarity, with the commitment to yourself that you will not allow the past to define today. This is the discipline of daily renewal, and it requires patience and dedication. It begins the moment you open your eyes, before the mind has a chance to pull you back into the stories of yesterday. You take a breath and choose presence. You feel the weight of your body on the bed, the rise and fall of your breath, the sensation of being alive. This simple awareness is the first act of renewal. It grounds you in the present moment. It reminds you that you are not the old self unless you choose to be. You are not the stories you tell yourself unless you continue to tell them. You are simply a being, alive and capable of growth. As you move through your morning, you bring this awareness into every action, into the way you prepare your body, the way you move, the way you nourish yourself with food, the way you step into the day with clarity and purpose. Each action is an opportunity to practice discipline, not a rigid control, but a conscious choice, to act with intention rather than habit. When you brush your teeth, you do it with mindfulness. When you drink water, you do it with gratitude. When you step outside, you do it with an awareness of the ground beneath your feet, the air against your skin, the light of the sky above. This is the training of presence, the daily renewal of the mind and spirit through attention and care. It is not a task to be checked off a list. It is a way of living. It is a way of saying to yourself each day, I am not the same as I was yesterday. I am growing, I am learning, I am present in this moment, and I choose to move forward with clarity and strength. As the day continues, you encounter moments of challenge, moments when old patterns try to reassert themselves, moments when fear or anger or doubt rise in the mind. This is where the discipline deepens. It is not about forcing these feelings away. It is about observing them with clarity, seeing them for what they are, habits of the mind, echoes of the past, patterns that do not define who you are now. You breathe, you stay present, you choose not to react from habit, but to respond with awareness. This is the true training, the training of the mind to remain steady in the face of difficulty. You may notice how easily the mind slips into distraction, how it seeks comfort in familiar stories or behaviors. When this happens, you simply bring your attention back to the present. You remind yourself that renewal is a daily practice. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about returning again and again to the choice to be present, to be mindful, to be intentional in your actions and thoughts. The discipline of daily renewal is not a burden, it is a liberation. It frees you from the weight of the past. It frees you from the pull of the old self. It allows you to meet each day with fresh eyes, with a clear mind, with an open heart. It is a practice that strengthens you from within, that builds resilience and clarity, that sharpens your focus and deepens your connection to yourself and to the world around you. Through this practice, you begin to see that renewal is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through your choices, through your actions, through your commitment to being present. It is a practice that requires honesty with yourself, the willingness to see where you have fallen into old patterns, and the courage to choose a new response. It is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. It is about being willing to grow. As the day draws to a close, you bring this same awareness into your evening, into the way you wind down, into the way you prepare your body and mind for rest. You take a moment to reflect, not with judgment but with curiosity. What did I learn today? Where did I act from old patterns? Where did I choose presence and clarity? What can I let go of as I prepare to rest? This reflection is not about dwelling on mistakes. It is about learning. It is about seeing yourself clearly and choosing to begin again tomorrow with a fresh mind. This cycle of daily renewal is like the steady flow of water over stone, shaping the mind and spirit with gentle persistence. It does not require grand gestures. It does not demand perfection. It simply asks for consistency, for the willingness to return again and again to the practice of presence, to the discipline of mindfulness, to the commitment to yourself as you walk the path of transformation. In this daily practice, you discover strength you did not know you had. You discover clarity that cuts through confusion. You discover a peace that arises from within, not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in the simple truth of being present. You discover that renewal is not a destination but a way of living, a way of meeting each moment with openness, with curiosity, with the courage to be fully alive. And when you look back after days, weeks, months of this practice, you will see how far you have come. You will see how the old self has dissolved, not through force but through the steady, quiet discipline of renewal. You will see how you have rebuilt yourself, not in a single moment, but through 1,000 small choices, made with awareness, made with intention, made with love for yourself and for the life you are creating. This is the path of daily renewal, the path of transformation, the path of mastery. There comes a moment in the journey of rebuilding yourself when the mind has quieted, when the old patterns no longer hold their grip, when the distractions of the world have lost their power over you. It is in this stillness that something deeper begins to emerge. A sense of connection to something larger than yourself, a feeling of unity with the flow of life, with the pulse of existence. This connection is not something you can force. It is not something you can create through effort. It arises naturally as you let go of the old self, as you dissolve the barriers between you and the world.